At what point should you raise money for your business? Now, I get that this is not applicable to just about anybody, but it is applicable to me right now. I just got a pretty weirdly crazy offer, and I've had these offers come over the past few years of people that wanted to buy into my business and wanted to buy a percentage of it. And I've always instantly just said no, but I just got the first offer that I would actually consider, and I'll show you the reasoning. Let me explain how I get all of these opportunities of so many wealthy people that want to give me money, because that is a great problem to have. Every single person would want that. The first is just getting in the right rooms, which took an exceptionally long time, and I'm not naked. The first way I got a job was getting this guy's logo tattooed on my leg, flying across the country and apprenticing myself under this guy, George Gammon. And then I inevitably did really, really well. And we opened up some new departments, and I learned really valuable skill and started helping all of his friends. And I was doing all of that for free. I was working all hours of every day, working for free for a ton of people because I wanted to learn and become substantially better, because I knew that if I was exceptionally good at that skill, I would be able to grow a business around it. And now I have a business around it where I'm helping a lot of large businesses do all of their organic media with the best strategy in the entire world, I can guarantee you. And then the best strategy or that's what we're trying to open up the second department of monetizing all of the views that we're getting. And now we're getting a lot more clients and we're doing all these things, and the business is growing very, very quickly. And throughout this process, I've talked to so many people that are very wealthy. I've gotten into all the right rooms pretty much. I would objectively, zero ego attached to it, say that for a 22-year-old, I have one of the best networks of real business owners in the entire world. The guys that I hang out with, they are all, or not all of them, but a substantial amount are running $100 million per year businesses, doing incredible things, really moving the world forward. But that's besides the point. Why is it that a lot of these people say, hey, Josh, I want to invest in your business? One, because people invest in people, not what you're doing. And when we would be at dinner and I talk about the story that I had, which I briefly discussed, and then where I plan on taking it, and I tell them with such a high degree of confidence and belief in myself, they also believe in you. And then the results speak for themselves. If I do exceptionally well for all of these other successful people that they look up to or are very well respected in their avenues, and those people are saying such great things about me, it makes other people think very highly of you. That's basically just what your reputation is. My reputation right now is so ridiculously good because I've helped so many people to such a high degree for such a long period of time. The word spreads. And then when you speak to these people and you show them what you're doing, they know who you're doing it for. They want to be a part of it. They see the ship and they want to be a part of the ship because you obviously show incredible momentum and growth. And over the years, I've had actually at least a dozen people say, Josh, how much money to give you to get a percentage of your business because I see so much growth? And I've always just said, I don't need the money. This is not what I'm interested in. But that's really because I didn't have a functioning business. I had a very high in demand skill set that I was monetizing without a business. A business, you have infrastructure, you have systems in place, you have people to where you can start to scale and take on more clients, which I didn't have. Now we are growing more of a business and there's a lot of expenses in that. And so at what point would you want to raise money for your business? Well, first off, it would be if your limiting constraint was capital. Let's say I needed to do a ton of marketing efforts and I was in a space where it was one size fit all, like software. Whoever has the best software or the best like media platform, you need the social network, or let's say like an exchange, a crypto exchange, a stock exchange. You need to get all the customers onto your platform as soon and as quickly as humanly possible, because if not, your competitors will get them. And when someone signs up for, let's say, Webull or any of these brokerages, you just stick with that brokerage. Therefore, you have more of this monopolized effect. So there's a lot of reason why someone like that would need to raise money to get as much marketing campaigns to get all the customers, because then their LTV is super high. And for me, my LTV, which is just the lifetime value of the customer, how much your customer pays you, is pretty much infinite because I've never actually lost a client. And so it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for every single client. It's continuously growing because we are more of a performance-based model. Anyway, that's besides the point. Or if you're low on capital and you want to expand your team and build out more infrastructure, or you just want to take some chips off the table. If I want to take some chips off the table and let this guy buy into, let's say, 10, 20% of the company, I would then have a bunch of cash, which I could then do other things with. This guy just sold his company, which was a railroad business. And so he owned trains that would ship different containers to different people, decently sized business. So he had a massive exit. And I just met this guy. We were talking and he just said, Josh, I want to invest in you. I see so much fucking growth in what you're doing. What do I have to do to be a part of it? Because I know that you are going to wildly outperform any other fucking thing that I could invest in. And that was the conversation that we had. And he said, I'm getting over the next few months another payout that is high. He said, I've already gotten the first two sums of payment and I'm going to get another payment. And I would love to give you some of that money to invest in you and so you can help grow the business. So then I get a percentage of it. And so why was I considering that? One, because I was fucking short on capital. We were not taking on clients. clients. I was building out infrastructure. I was investing in growth, but not making any more money. I was thinking, fuck, I need the money because I never want to be in the position where I need to make short-term decisions. And that would be if I'm short on capital, a short-term decision would be taking on short-term clients that I don't think are the best fit. Not a great feeling. When the ship's going down, it sounds like, you know what, maybe I do take this capital, which would give us some breathing room. And so am I going to do it? No, not right now. I don't really want the capital because we've pretty much sorted out all of those issues. I don't want to have investors. And I know this guy, I'm pretty good friends with him, but I still don't want to have someone that has money invested. Unless it was someone that was like, Josh, I'm not even going to talk to you for the next 5 years. I just want to see what you can do. And if you need any guidance, I'll be here for it. And that would be pretty much the only investor that I would want. Companies raise money for a reason, because to bootstrap a business, which is using your own capital, which is what I have been doing, there's obviously pros and cons to it. I actually do see a scenario where 5 to 7 years down the line, we build an asset that we could sell because it will be more of a functioning business. It doesn't really matter right now though. Where I would want to raise money is if I want to buy another company. A company would be like an ad company, like someone who does paid ads, one of those types of businesses, because that would add a lot of market value to my company if I was planning on selling. And that is a strategic play to be able to sell your business for more if I was ever looking to sell. If you have a business that's doing $3 million a year, you'll probably only be able to sell 3 to 5x EBITDA if you're lucky. There's not too many buyers of those types of businesses. And so EBITDA is just your profit. If you're doing $3 million in revenue, your profit is probably, let's just say on the high end, $1 million. You'll probably only be able to sell that business for a few $1,000,000, maybe $2 to $5 million, maybe a little bit more depending on the business. There's not too many firms that are buying those types of businesses. Where is the arbitrage? If you can get up to where you're doing $10 million in EBITDA, your profit is $10 million. Let's say your revenue was 40 million. You would be able to sell for a substantially higher multiple because there's more buyers for different PE firms, private equity. If you had a 10 million EBITDA, which is profit, you could probably sell that business for 60 to 100 million. And the market's a little bit down right now because interest rates are high. But let's say if interest rates go back down, there's a very high likelihood that you could sell at a 10x multiple, depending upon the business model. For my business model, which is an agency, they would sell on a profit, a 10x profit on $10 million. That's how you have your $100 million exit. If you're doing $3 million in revenue, you can probably only make a few $1,000,000. That's just because different company sizes sell at different multiples. Most people don't know this, and it's very hard to have a business, let's say doing $3 to $10 million a year in revenue. Those business owners aren't thinking about selling, or if they are, they're not as educated. But because most of my friends make a ridiculous amount of money and they have businesses that are hundreds of millions of dollars, and a lot of them buy businesses that are in that $5 to $10 million range at small multiples, because then they can flip it at a higher multiple. If I was looking to sell, I would do strategic plays to acquire more companies so we had a bigger overall EBITDA to sell at a higher multiple. And that's something that you would raise money for. But that's also where you just need to have a lot of knowledge, and that's where all my friends come in to help kind of structure those kinds of things. And so I would take on a strategic partner that has a lot of experience in that and take their capital to buy some more companies so we could sell at a higher multiple. And I know this might seem confusing. It's just some weird ways that the frickin' big money plays. And so it's just kind of moving in tangent with what they're doing. I don't even know how I got off on this tangent.